Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I'd like to start by asking all of you to close your eyes and just think about the last time that you said good morning and thank you to your barista, your bus driver. Perhaps you let the woman behind you with 1 quart of milk and 3 children that were small running around her legs get ahead of you in line while you were doing your grocery shopping and you had 50 items. How about your elevator operator, your doorman, your neighbor, the paper person who drops off the paper at your doorstep every day? Are we saying good morning and please and thank you? How about the Uber Eats guy delivering your food? Are you saying thank you, have a nice night, or be safe out there to anyone? I sure hope so. I don't know any of you, so I don't know whether you are or you aren't. But I know for myself, some days I'm on it and some days I'm not with being courteous towards others. So today, my presentation is really about trying to evoke everyone to be a little bit more mindful about how they are demonstrating courteous behavior in today's society. And there's a reason why. So my name is Kathy Kelleher, and I am a mother, a daughter, a grandmother, a dog mom, a caretaker, a student, an employee, a colleague, a friend, and most of all, I am an observer of human behaviors, both in my professional and my personal life. So I was on a bus ride and I was thinking about this presentation and this assignment, and I was going to actually present on human rights, and that was going to be my speech topic. And I happened to notice and observe quite a few discourteous behaviors happening on a bus in New York City. And it wasn't like about one issue, it was probably about 10 different things in the span of maybe 10 minutes. And I thought, I wonder if I started researching courteous behavior, what I would find out. And my thought process was, is courteous behavior becoming obsolete? And if so, why is that? So here's what I found out. Number one, I went to Merriam-Webster, the dictionary people, and I found out that the meaning of courtesy is marked by respect for and consideration of other people. So we're showing others some respect and consideration when we're being courteous. I also found out that courtesy is a learned behavior. And by that I mean, when we are children, we learn this behavior from others. Who are those others? Our parents, our caregivers, our teachers, maybe our coaches, the people we spend the most time with. When we get into higher grades in school, maybe it's our friends, which of course they've learned from their parents, caregivers, and teachers, right? So I think this is how society has learned how to be courteous. Now, so we know it's a learned behavior. What happens to it? We learn it, we forget it, we learn it, we don't care about it, or we just don't pay attention to it, or we never learn it to begin with. So it could be a multitude of things. But here's what I think. So technology. Where are we with technology and courtesy? There was recently a New York Times article in January of 2018, which was really geared towards the health issues brought about by our smartphones and other devices, and how our always-on behavior and our text messaging stance of head down into the device brings about back and neck issues and carpal tunnel syndrome, but it also brings back a lack of communication and a lack of being in reality with the world. And therefore, our communication skills and our manners fall into a slump. When I'm trying to get onto the subway and the woman in front of me is standing there and she's got earphones in and she's talking, she's not paying attention to me saying, excuse me. So I think she's being rude. And that's kind of how that goes. So there we have one issue is technology. Another issue is, I believe, cultural differences. I live in a city which is very diverse culturally, and recently I went to church on a Sunday. Well, not so recently, but anyway, I went to church on a Sunday, And in the Catholic Church, when you receive Holy Communion, the order usually goes, you go pew by pew from the front to the back, and you stand on a line, you get your communion, you go back to the pew, and you say a prayer. And this was not occurring in the church I was going to. There was this mad rush, like cutting the line type of thing happening. And I thought, how strange, maybe these people have somewhere to go afterwards in a hurry. Okay, week 1, I can let that go. Week 2, it happened again. I said, how strange. What could be going on after Mass every Sunday evening? And then week 3, I decided that since I was sitting there judging these people for their behavior and being irritated that was not how I was supposed to feel in church, so therefore I was going to find a new church to go to. A few weeks later, a friend of mine called and asked why he hadn't seen me in church lately. So I explained to him the reason why, and he laughed and said, oh, that happens to be the culture of those few that are kind of rushing up there to receive communion. In their own country, they don't even stand on line for a bus. They push and shove each other into the bus. And I thought, well, imagine that behavior happening here in the American soil. So, therefore, it led me to the conclusion that different cultures express different courtesies towards one another. And I researched a little further. So in some cultures, if you look someone in the eye, that's being extremely rude. While in our culture, that it's being rude not to look someone in the eye when they're speaking to you, right? So there are all different sorts of nuances going around about courtesy. And I think that if we could just be mindful, and even if we are from another culture, maybe we assimilate, we learn the cultures of the country that we're living in so that we are not being discourteous. Because as a people, as an individual, I want to present to the world my best self. And I want to be somebody who somebody says, wow, she's got manners, or very nice manners she has, or she was so courteous to say thank you to me. So I start to display those things in my own little world every day, being a little bit more mindful, because heaven knows I have run through my day not being very courteous to anyone at all some days. But after this assignment now, I feel that I have renewed that desire in me to present my best self out there in society. And I would like to encourage each and every one of you to hold that door for the person who looks like they're struggling with an umbrella, or the elderly person, or a child. Say please and thank you and you're welcome. Say good morning and good night to people. Even if you just smile at someone, it may change their whole day. It may change their whole outlook on somebody, for somebody that day. So be a person that they would want to be, a polite person. And I just want to leave you with this last thought. You really don't need a teaching credential to teach good manners. We teach others by doing. And if we so teach people good manners by doing them ourselves, we can and we will have a nicer world to live in.